Hi, I'm Amanda Pasciucco, a certified sex therapist, and today we're going to be talking about how do I tell my partner about my kink. Stay until the end for a communication checklist as a thank you for watching. So most people have some fantasy, yet they have no idea how to talk about it with another person. This is the video. Sex starts with the most important organ in the body, the mind. Kink is described in many different ways, but what it really means is anything that deviates from the norm of cis-het missionary monosexuality, or vanilla sex. What we want you to think about here is what you think about when you think about self-pleasuring, or what you think about when you want to watch a movie or read a book that intrigues you in a sensual, pleasuring, erotic way. What is the thing that you actually want? Don't get worried about shame. Let me just tell you some common examples that you might not have even thought of. Power dynamics, kidnapping, forced threesomes or moresomes, body fluids, giving up control. All of these are okay, yet be aware that the cultural water that we kind of swim in when it comes to media, when it comes to what we hear and read on social media, music, television, it's really important to keep in mind that we have this idea of repulsion and what is shameful based on what we hear, what we see, and where we've been enculturated. So keep that in mind, because all of that actually affects fantasy and affects your emotions and how you judge yourself instead of using maybe self-compassion or being really proud of yourself or being like, that's a great fantasy. If it makes me happy, if it doesn't hurt anyone, bonus points if it's legal, that's amazing. What is a fantasy role that you'd like to try? Grey's Anatomy, Pirates of the Caribbean, something else? Comment below. So when you are coming to a partner about this, be sure that you're aware that if they squick or say ew or judge you, it's probably not because they're being mean or trying to be mean on purpose. Sometimes it could be that, but mostly it's because that's what they have heard when they've shared a fantasy. Or that's what they saw on a television show, so therefore they're modeling what they've been told or have heard. It doesn't mean that they actually are repulsed in what you shared, even though it may sound that way. The first response is kind of like programmed into us, but I hope that as we grow, that we learn these other responses that come in so that we're not feeling judged or hurt by it. Be aware that there might be some sexual incompatibilities between you and your partner, but the thing is, if you use Inner Aspects, which is created by Francesca Gentile, if you use this model, you can create different templates to show up erotically for your partners. Just because you don't have a match yet doesn't mean that you can't find a match if you have willingness. And with love, sometimes there's willingness to try new things. Be willing to listen kindly and accept what your partner shares as their fantasy as well. If you are doing something with them for your fantasy, chances are that you can flip it around and reciprocate that. Use things like, oh, I think I hear you saying, is that close? Or use something like, wow, I didn't realize that you had a part of you that was interested in. I don't have that part of me yet, and I'm willing to do some work to create it. What would you want your partner to show up as for your ideal needs to be met in this fantasy? These types of conversations are high-level conversations to get you the erotic desire and pleasure that you want. Listen carefully to one another and do your best to be compassionate, curious, and collaborative. Put criticism and judgment to the side and show up with other parts of you that are vulnerable and appreciative of your partner's vulnerability. And since you stayed until the end, scroll down, click on the link for the inner aspect checklist. If you start to do this work, deep, intensive of uncovering and discovering parts of you, who's on the inside, you can get your fantasies met in your real life and help your partners to do the same. You can catch more of me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at The Sex Healer or at Amanda Pasciucco. I release a new video every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you then, and thanks for watching.